Is SpongeBob gay? I think that's the question that's been on everybody's minds. On June 13th, 2020, Nickelodeon posted the following tweet. It begins like this: celebrating hashtag Pride, rainbow flag, with the LGBTQ+ community and their allies this month and every month. Rainbow. And then it posts the following images. One is this character.
I have no idea who this is.
And there was also Korra from Legend of Korra. That cartoon was horrible. The ending was literally like Game of Thrones tier. And then you see a Mr. SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, what's notable is that all of these characters are in rainbow colors, signifying that they are gay in some way. Now, we know for sure that Korra from Legend of Korra is at least bisexual, because in the cartoon, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she decides to date a female character that she basically had no chemistry with, because we all know that friendship means hot lesbian lovin'. But what's really confusing is the implication that SpongeBob himself is gay. The beloved cartoon character SpongeBob really gay? Have no fear, my friends, because this is the question we are going to answer. I am a scientist. I have a theoretical degree in physics, and I feel qualified to answer this question. So come on this journey with me while I prove scientifically that SpongeBob is not gay. But before we begin, if you're new to this channel, remember to subscribe for more great theoretical physics and science, and hit that bell button so that you always get updates. And please, if you enjoy this video, please consider sharing it so that other people can learn the science. Have you ever wanted to go on a crusade? Well, now you can. Introducing the Deus Vult Knight Classic t-shirt. Available in over 16 colors, an impeccable knight stands upon the battlefield. There's also the Deus Vult sword design. Both are available down below in the description. So we're going to be looking at a few pieces of evidence in order to scientifically prove that SpongeBob is not gay. But first of all, what exactly is SpongeBob? SpongeBob these days is considered a beloved American classic cartoon created by Stephen Hillenburg. Stephen Hillenburg had a lifelong fascination with the ocean. As a child, and began developing his artistic abilities at a young age. He received a major in marine biology, graduating in 1984. After that, he joined the Ocean Institute, an organization in Dana Point, California. This is when he came up with SpongeBob SquarePants, a comic book originally titled The Intertidal Zone, used by the Institute to teach visiting students about the animal life of tide pools. The comic starred various anthropomorphic sea life forms, many of which would evolve into SpongeBob SquarePants characters. And ever since, SpongeBob SquarePants was an international sensation. The SpongeBob franchise these days is worth $8 billion. So where does that leave us today? I think it would be easy to say that it is one of the most iconic and recognizable cartoons to ever come out of the American animation industry. And personally, this cartoon had a large impact on my own childhood. I remember begging my parents to get DVDs so that I could watch more new episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants. The episodes are imaginative, colorful, funny, and peculiar. So that brings us to the modern day. SpongeBob was never exactly a manly man. He was whimsical, playful, and had an almost childlike mind. So is SpongeBob gay? It would only be fair to talk about one of the biggest pieces of evidence that people use to push the idea that SpongeBob is gay. Here you can see in a following Tumblr post. Remember when SpongeBob and Patrick raised a child? Because I do. And you can see Patrick and SpongeBob attempting to raise a clam. For whatever reason, SpongeBob is wearing a dress and shoes. And you can even see a pair of confused fish having a thought bubble where they're adding a sponge and a starfish and making a clam with a question mark, implying that if you mix a sponge and a starfish, do you get a clam? Who knows? The truth is they were adoptive parents. Now, I personally don't read into this. SpongeBob himself might be effeminate, but I do not believe he even has a sexuality. I mean, after all, it was a children's cartoon. But let's say that SpongeBob did have some sort of feelings. I want to present you the first piece of scientific evidence that SpongeBob was in fact interested in the ladies. I'm going to show you the following scene of SpongeBob watching TV.
I was just looking for the sports channel, Gary.
In this scene, you can see what appears to be SpongeBob watching what appears to be an anemone of some sort, dancing exotically, and he seems to be enjoying it. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, this scene heavily implies that SpongeBob was looking at an exotic dancer. I mean, who doesn't love a good exotic dancer? Oh, mama, I want her to sit on my face. So this is one example that SpongeBob might in fact be interested in the ladies. Although, of course, to be fair, it is kind of hard to understand what gender this creature is. However, this doesn't meet my scientific scrutiny. I want to show you an even better source of scientific knowledge, that SpongeBob isn't really interested in men or women. Now, there is one thing I need to say. The reason that we're looking at the early scenes of the SpongeBob SquarePants cartoon is because, well, the creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, left the series in 2004. This was after the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. All of the cartoons that were created before he left, as well as the movie, are canon. And I believe that anything created after is not canon, after all. After Steven left the show, SpongeBob was never really the same. The new SpongeBob episodes are weird, bizarre, and uncomfortable, and oftentimes simply inappropriate. In this following scene, which comes from the newer cartoons, you can see Squidward making what is very obviously a joke about tying a noose. This is wholly inappropriate for a children's cartoon. But the worst part about the new SpongeBob episodes is that they just don't capture the childlike innocence and wonder that the originals had. So I do not consider anything in them canon. As far as I'm concerned, the movie was the last piece of canon that we got when the creator left the show in 2004. And SpongeBob becomes the manager of the Krusty Krab 2. It was a perfect ending for a largely perfect show. Now, time to show you the scene. It's from one of the early episodes where SpongeBob reveals that, as a sponge, he reproduces by budding.
Can you reproduce by budding? Can ya?
According to Wikipedia, budding is a type of asexual reproduction in which a new organism develops from an outgrowth or bud due to cell division at one particular site. The small bulb-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called a bud. Ah, yes. It is canonically proven that SpongeBob reproduces by budding, which is asexual reproduction. This would heavily imply that SpongeBob is asexual. But don't think that that's all of my evidence. I am a theoretical physics scientist, after all. The greatest proof comes from Steven Hillenburg himself. Here you can see in a People article from 2005. The title says, SpongeBob asexual, not gay. Creator. Steven Hillenburg, the brains behind the cartoon character, puts the issue to bed. So this was addressed all the way back in 2005 on January 28th. Here he says, tossing water on the controversy as whether he's straight or gay, SpongeBob SquarePants is neither, insists his creator. So the story goes that a Christian activist group had accused SpongeBob SquarePants and Patrick Starfish as promoting a gay lifestyle. But to this, Steven Hillenburg scoffed and said the following. He said, and I quote, "The allegations are far-fetched in that his agenda does not go beyond entertainment. It does not have anything to do with what we're trying to do," Hillenburg tells Reuters. "We never intended them to be gay. I consider them to be almost asexual. We're just trying to be funny, and this has got nothing to do with this show." So it's very clear from this account that, on record, Steven Hillenburg never, ever meant for SpongeBob as a character to have a sexuality. Sure, he is shown at one point looking at an exotic sea creature, and he's also seen as a feminine character in some of the episodes where they raise a baby clam. But at the end of the day, the creator himself says SpongeBob was asexual, not gay. That and the fact that there's a scene where SpongeBob reproduces by budding, which is an asexual reproduction method, and I think we could lay this issue to rest. It is scientifically provable that SpongeBob is not gay. So I think that this Nickelodeon tweet is silly at best, because it really seems like Nickelodeon is trying to hijack a beloved cartoon character to push an agenda. And if you want to promote something like Pride Month, well, that's your choice. But I think it is very disrespectful to take a classic cartoon character and change them just to fit a woke agenda. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this assessment, this theory, and this science? I love to do the science. I am a real scientist after all. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Now, as always, if you like this content and want to support the work I do, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. If you want to donate, there's DonorBox and Bitcoin. Links are down below. And again, if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a share. It really helps the channel get out there. You can also visit the merch store. I've got some wonderful designs up there, and I'm very pleased with how they came out, and I hope you enjoy them. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.